Learning from courageous people. Ladies and gentlemen, today, I want to speak to you about courage not as an abstract concept, but as a living, breathing force that shapes the very essence of a meaningful life. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is, instead, the decision to act despite fear, to confront the chaos and uncertainty of existence with purpose and resolve. This is not merely a lofty ideal, it is a practical necessity for anyone striving to grow, to lead, or to contribute meaningfully to the world. Think of those individuals who stand as beacons of courage in your mind, the leaders, reformers, or even ordinary people who rose to extraordinary challenges. What sets them apart is not an inherent fearlessness but their capacity to persevere through fear. They teach us an invaluable lesson: courage is a skill, one that can be honed through discipline and deliberate action. The heart of courage lies in moral integrity. It is the willingness to uphold principles and values even when the stakes are high. Even when the world seems to stand against you. It is in these moments, when we choose to do what is right rather than what is easier, that we truly grow. This moral fortitude is the foundation of meaningful existence. But let us not romanticize courage without acknowledging its cost. Courage demands sacrifice, whether it is risking social ostracism to defend a just cause, or enduring personal hardship to protect others. Courage calls us to step beyond our comfort zones. The courageous individuals we admire have often paid a steep price, but their sacrifices remind us that anything worth pursuing requires giving something in return. One of the most remarkable things about courage is its contagious nature. When one person stands firm in the face of adversity, others are inspired to do the same. This ripple effect transforms communities, even societies. By learning from courageous people, we not only absorb their lessons but also find the strength to emulate their resolve in our lives. The beauty of courage is that it can be cultivated. Start smaller by facing the challenges that intimidate you but are within your capacity to tackle. Each step reinforces your ability to confront greater fears. The lives of courageous individuals illustrate this principle. They did not start as heroes. They grew into their roles by confronting one fear, one challenge at a time. Courage is a path to meaning. When we confront our fears and face life's adversities with strength and purpose, we discover a deeper sense of fulfillment. The courageous do not merely survive, they thrive, because they engage fully with the struggles that define the human condition. Courage is often misunderstood as a trait possessed by a select few, a kind of innate bravery that seems beyond the reach of the average person. This misunderstanding, however, obscures the true nature of courage and its role in human development. Courage is not the absence of fear, rather, it is the conscious decision to act despite fear. Fear is a universal human experience, deeply rooted in our biology, designed to keep us safe from threats. But while fear protects, it can also paralyze, preventing us from taking meaningful action. Courage, then, is not about suppressing fear but about navigating it with purpose. When we study courageous individuals, we see that they are not immune to fear, they feel it as keenly as anyone else. What distinguishes them is their ability to confront and transcend it. This distinction is crucial because it shifts our perception of courage from an unattainable ideal to a learnable skill. Courage is not reserved for heroes on distant battlefields or activists in history books. It is something each of us can cultivate in our daily lives, in both grand and ordinary moments. Consider a scenario familiar to many: standing up for a principle when it is unpopular or inconvenient. The fear of judgment, rejection, or conflict can be overwhelming. Yet, in these moments, those who act with courage demonstrate an essential truth: the value of doing what is right often outweighs the temporary discomfort of fear. This kind of courage, rooted in integrity, is not always dramatic or visible, but it is profoundly meaningful. It reminds us that courage is as much about small, quiet acts as it is about bold, public gestures. At its core, courage is deeply connected to human potential. It is the force that enables us to move forward in the face of uncertainty, to strive for growth even when failure looms as a possibility. Without courage, progress, both personal and collective, would stagnate. Imagine a world where no one dared to question the status quo, challenge injustice, or pursue innovation. It is through acts of courage, big and small, that societies evolve and individuals reach their highest capacities. The nature of courage also highlights the interplay between fear and meaning. Fear signals a perceived threat to something we value. It could be our safety, reputation, or comfort. However, the presence of fear also indicates that something important is at stake. When we confront our fears, we align ourselves with the things that matter most to you, be it truth, love, justice, or progress. This alignment imbues our actions with meaning and transforms our fears into a compass guiding us toward what is most essential. Another critical aspect of courage is its relational quality. Courage often involves not only the individual but also their connection to others. Many acts of courage are born out of a desire to protect, uplift, or serve others. For instance, a parent who risks their well-being to safeguard their child, or a whistleblower who exposes corruption despite personal risks, exemplifies courage rooted in care and responsibility. These examples demonstrate that courage is not merely self-serving, it is often an act of generosity, driven by a commitment to something greater than oneself. Yet, it is important to acknowledge that courage does not always come easily. It is frequently accompanied by internal conflict, doubt, and even moments of paralysis. This is what makes the study of courageous people so valuable. By understanding their journeys, we see that courage is not a static trait but a dynamic process. It involves preparation, self-reflection, and their willingness to take risks despite uncertainty. When we recognize this, we can begin to see courage not as an all-or-nothing quality but as a spectrum of choices we make in various circumstances. The transformative power of courage lies in its ability to reframe our relationship with fear. Instead of being an obstacle, fear becomes a signal of an opportunity to act with purpose. This shift in perspective is liberating. It enables us to see challenges not as insurmountable barriers but as chances to grow and contribute. Courage, therefore, is not only about individual empowerment but also about collective betterment. When individuals act courageously, they inspire others to do the same, creating a ripple effect that can lead to significant change. In learning from courageous people, we come to understand that courage is both universal and deeply personal. It is universal in the sense that everyone has the capacity for it, yet personal in how it manifests in different lives and contexts. Some may demonstrate courage in the face of physical danger, others in intellectual pursuits or emotional vulnerability. Each form of courage is valid and necessary, contributing to the rich tapestry of human experience. Ultimately, the nature of courage teaches us that fear is not the enemy, stagnation is. Fear will always be a part of life, but how we respond to it determines the trajectory of our lives. By learning from courageous people, we equip ourselves with the tools to confront our own fears and move forward with intention and meaning. Courage, then, is not only a skill to be admired but a quality to be cultivated, a reminder that, in the face of fear, we have the power to act and transform both ourselves and the world around us. Courage serves as a moral compass, guiding us through the complexities and challenges of life. It is the foundation upon which moral integrity rests, enabling individuals to stand firm in their principles even when faced with overwhelming adversity or societal opposition. At its essence, courage is the ability to uphold what is right, just, and true, even in the face of personal cost or external pressure. This makes it not just a desirable quality but a necessary one for leading a life of authenticity and purpose. The relationship between courage and morality is profound because moral decisions often involve significant risks. Standing by your principles may mean defying authority, challenging prevailing norms, or enduring criticism and isolation. These situations require more than intellectual reasoning or ethical clarity. They demand the strength to act in accordance with your values, even when it is inconvenient, unpopular, or dangerous. This is where courage distinguishes itself as a moral virtue. It transforms abstract beliefs into concrete actions and gives life to ideals that might otherwise remain dormant. When we think of moral courage, historical examples often come to mind of individuals who challenged oppressive systems, advocated for justice, or fought against corruption. Figures like Rosa Parks, who refused to relinquish her seat on a segregated bus, on whistleblowers who expose systemic wrongdoing despite personal risk, illustrate how courage enables people to take a stand for what they believe is right. These individuals remind us that morality without courage is fragile. It is courage that fortifies moral convictions and allows them to manifest in action. Yet, moral courage is not confined to grand acts of defiance or activism. It is also present in everyday decisions, where standing by your principles can be just as challenging. It may be the employee who speaks out against unethical practices in the workplace, the friend who confronts someone they care about for harmful behavior, or the individual who resists peer pressure to engage in something they believe is wrong. In each of these instances, moral courage is at play, requiring the individual to navigate the tension between their inner values and external demands. One of the key reasons courage is essential to morality is that moral decisions are rarely straightforward. They often exist in shades of gray, where competing values and interests make the right choice unclear or difficult to execute. Courage becomes the force that pushes us to make these tough decisions despite uncertainty, fear of judgment, or potential failure. It is the resolve to prioritize long-term ethical integrity over short-term comfort or gain, knowing that the easier path is not always the correct one. Courage also plays a critical role in resisting conformity. Humans are inherently social beings, often driven by the need for acceptance and belonging. This can create a tendency to conform to group norms, even when those norms conflict with personal values or ethical principles. It takes courage to break free from this dynamic, to stand alone when necessary, and to assert your beliefs despite the potential backlash from the group. Moral courage, therefore, is not only about adhering to your principles but also about resisting the forces that seek to erode or suppress them. Moreover, courage is the antidote to moral apathy. In a world where injustices can feel overwhelming or entrenched, it is easy to become desensitized or to rationalize inaction. We might tell ourselves that the problem is too large for one person to address, that someone else will take responsibility, or that our efforts will make no difference. Courage counters this inertia by compelling us to act, reminding us that meaningful change often begins with individual decisions. It encourages us to take responsibility for our actions and their consequences, even when the outcome is uncertain. The ripple effect of courage on morality is equally significant. Acts of moral courage have a way of inspiring others to reflect on their values and take action. When one person speaks out against wrongdoing, others may find the strength to join them. This collective courage can amplify the impact of moral decisions, creating a cascade of ethical action that transforms communities and societies. History is replete with examples of movements for justice and equality that began with the courage of a few individuals who refused to remain silent. Courage is not the absence of fear in moral decision-making but the ability to act in spite of it. Fear is often a natural response to situations involving high stakes or potential consequences. However, fear can also serve as a guide, pointing to areas where our values are being tested. Courage is the mechanism through which we confront this fear, acknowledging its presence while refusing to let it dictate our actions. This interplay between fear and courage underscores the humanity of moral decision-making, reminding us that courage is a choice rather than an inherent trait. Courage as a moral compass is about living authentically. It is about aligning your actions with your values, even when the path is difficult or fraught with risk. It is about being willing to face discomfort, opposition, or uncertainty to uphold what you believe is right. By learning from those who exemplify moral courage, we can better understand its importance in our own lives. They teach us that courage is not just an extraordinary act reserved for extraordinary people. It is a daily commitment to integrity, a practice of choosing what is right over what is easy. Through this commitment, courage becomes not just an individual virtue but a collective force for good, shaping the moral fabric of society. Courage and sacrifice are inextricably linked, forming a relationship that is central to the concept of meaningful action. True courage often demands personal sacrifice, requiring individuals to give up comfort, security, or personal gain to pursue what they believe is right or necessary. This interplay between courage and sacrifice is what makes acts of bravery so profound. They represent choices that prioritize principles, values, or the well-being of others over immediate self-interest. Understanding this connection helps us not only to admire courageous individuals but also to appreciate the depth of their commitment and the cost of their actions. At its core, courage is about facing challenges that involve risk, uncertainty, or fear. Sacrifice is the mechanism through which this courage is often expressed. Whether it is the willingness to endure discomfort, forego personal advantages, or confront significant danger, sacrifice is the price of acting courageously. It is a conscious decision to let go of something valuable in pursuit of a greater purpose. This might involve tangible sacrifices, such as financial loss or physical risk, or intangible ones, like emotional vulnerability or the loss of social approval. Consider the sacrifices made by individuals who stand up against systemic injustice or oppressive regimes. These acts of courage are rarely without consequence. Whistleblowers, for example, often face retaliation, career setbacks, or even threats to their personal safety. Activists challenging entrenched power structures may endure imprisonment, harassment, or social ostracism. Yet, they choose to act because they believe the cause they are fighting for is worth the sacrifices they must make. Their actions remind us that courage is not about convenience but about conviction or willingness to endure loss for the sake of what is right. This dynamic is not limited to extraordinary acts of heroism. It is also present in the quieter, everyday acts of courage that shape our lives. A teacher who dedicates extra hours to support struggling students, sacrificing personal time and energy, demonstrates a form of courage rooted in care and commitment. A parent who works tirelessly to provide for their family, often at great personal cost, embodies the courage to put the needs of others above their own comfort. These examples illustrate that sacrifice does not always mean grand gestures. It often involves small, consistent choices that reflect a deep sense of responsibility and purpose. The willingness to sacrifice is what gives courage its transformative power. When we act courageously, we challenge not only external obstacles but also our own limitations and fears. Sacrifice becomes a way of transcending self-centered concerns and connecting with something larger than ourselves, whether it is a cause, a community, or a set of ideals. This process of letting go allows us to grow, to expand our capacity for empathy, resilience, and purpose. It teaches us that true fulfillment often comes not from what we gain but from what we are willing to give. Sacrifice also serves as a powerful source of inspiration. When we witness acts of courage accompanied by significant sacrifices, we are reminded of the potential for greatness within the human spirit. The stories of individuals who have risked everything for their beliefs or for the welfare of others resonate deeply because they reflect the highest aspirations of humanity. They challenge us to examine our own lives and consider what we are willing to sacrifice for the things we value most. In this way, courage and sacrifice have a ripple effect, motivating others to act with similar determination and selflessness. It is important to acknowledge that sacrifice is not without its challenges. The decision to give up something valuable can be fraught with doubt, hesitation, and even regret. Courageous individuals often wrestle with these emotions, as they are acutely aware of the costs involved. This inner conflict is a testament to their humanity and does not diminish their courage. Rather, it underscores the depth of their commitment. Sacrifice, by its nature, involves loss, and the ability to endure this loss is what makes courage so remarkable. The relationship between courage and sacrifice also highlights the role of choice. Sacrifices made in the name of courage are not forced or accidental, they are deliberate decisions. This element of choice is what distinguishes courage from mere endurance. It reflects a conscious alignment with values and priorities, a willingness to act with intention despite the personal cost. This deliberate nature of sacrifice adds to its significance, as it demonstrates a level of agency and resolve that is deeply empowering. Ultimately, the connection between courage and sacrifice reveals a profound truth about the human condition. that meaning often arises from what we are willing to give up for the sake of something greater. Courage is not about avoiding loss but about embracing it as a necessary step toward growth, justice, or love. It challenges us to confront our fears and limitations, to take risks, and to prioritize what truly matters. Learning from courageous individuals who have made sacrifices helps us understand that courage is not an abstract ideal but a lived reality. It is a practice that demands effort, resilience, and a willingness to endure hardship. By studying their lives, we see that sacrifice is not a weakness but a strength, a testament to the power of human resolve. It inspires us to reflect on our own values and to consider what we are willing to sacrifice to live authentically and purposefully. In doing so, we come to realize that courage, far from being a rare trait, is something we can all cultivate through the choices we make and the sacrifices we are willing to bear. The ripple effect of courage is one of its most extraordinary aspects. Acts of courage rarely exist in isolation. They have the power to inspire, influence, and catalyze change far beyond their immediate context. When someone exhibits courage, it sets a powerful example, challenging others to reflect on their own fears, values, and capacity for action. This ripple effect can transform not only individuals but entire communities, creating a wave of bravery that alters the course of events and fosters collective resilience. At its core, courage is deeply contagious. Witnessing an act of courage resonates with something fundamental in the human spirit. It reminds us of our shared potential to overcome fear and adversity and emboldens us to step into situations where we might otherwise hesitate. Consider the stories of historical movements for justice or liberation. The courage of a few often sparks widespread momentum, as others draw strength from their example. Whether it is a lone voice speaking out against oppression or a single individual taking a stand in the face of overwhelming odds, these actions can ignite a chain reaction of courage. This dynamic plays out not only on grand historical stages but also in the everyday interactions that shape our lives. A student who challenges unfair treatment in a classroom may inspire their peers to demand fairness in other settings. A colleague who speaks up about unethical behavior in the workplace may encourage others to examine their own choices and advocate for integrity. These seemingly small acts of courage can have profound implications, demonstrating that bravery is not confined to extraordinary circumstances but is woven into the fabric of daily life. The ripple effect of courage is amplified by the human capacity for empathy and connection. When we see someone confront a challenge with bravery, we are reminded of our shared struggles and aspirations. This connection fosters a sense of solidarity, encouraging others to take similar risks in pursuit of shared goals. It also creates a supportive environment where courage becomes not just an individual effort but a collective endeavor. In this way, acts of courage build trust and strengthen relationships, fostering a sense of community that can weather adversity. The ripple effect of courage extends beyond immediate circles. It often reaches people who may never have direct contact with the original act of bravery. Through storytelling, media, and shared experiences, courageous actions are transmitted across time and space, inspiring individuals who might otherwise feel isolated or powerless. A single act of courage can resonate with people in entirely different contexts, providing a source of motivation and guidance for their own challenges. This universality of courage underscores its transformative power, bridging divides and uniting people in their pursuit of meaningful action. The ripple effect of courage also highlights the interconnectedness of human actions. It demonstrates that individual choices have far-reaching consequences, influencing others in ways that may not be immediately visible. This interconnectedness is both a responsibility and an opportunity. It reminds us that our decisions to act with courage or to remain silent can shape the actions and attitudes of those around us. By choosing courage, we contribute to a culture of bravery that empowers others to do the same. The ripple effect of courage is not always immediate or linear. Sometimes the impact of a courageous act takes time to unfold, and its influence may not be fully realized until much later. This can make the act of courage feel lonely or even futile in the moment. Yet, history and personal experiences alike reveal that the seeds of courage, once planted, have the potential to grow and bear fruit in unexpected ways. A single act of bravery can inspire future generations, serving as a beacon of help and a testament to the power of standing firm in the face of adversity. The ripple effect of courage is also a reminder of the duality of fear and bravery. Just as fear can spread and paralyze groups, courage has the opposite effect, galvanizing collective action and resilience. This duality underscores the importance of choosing courage, especially in times of uncertainty or crisis. Acts of bravery not only counter fear but also create an environment where others feel safe to confront their own fears and take meaningful action. Learning from courageous individuals helps us understand how the ripple effect of courage operates in practice. Their stories show us that bravery is not always about grand gestures. Sometimes it is about persistence, resilience, and their willingness to take the first step. They teach us that courage, no matter how small it may seem, has the power to inspire others and initiate change. This realization empowers us to act, knowing that our choices matter and that our courage can have a lasting impact. The ripple effect of courage reveals the profound interconnectedness of human experience. It shows us that bravery is not an isolated act but a contribution to a larger narrative of hope, resilience, and progress. By choosing courage in our own lives, we become part of this narrative, inspiring others to face their fears and pursue their goals. In this way, courage becomes not just a personal virtue but a shared legacy, shaping the world in ways that extend far beyond our individual actions. Learning from courageous individuals offers a profound lesson about the resilience of the human spirit and its ability to overcome adversity. Their stories serve as a testament to the strength, determination, and persistence required to face challenges head-on, often under circumstances that seem insurmountable. This process of learning is not just about admiring acts of bravery, it is about understanding the mindset, values, and strategies that enable individuals to act courageously and applying these lessons to our own lives. One of the most valuable lessons we can learn from courageous people is the importance of clarity and purpose. Courage often stems from a deep connection to a goal, belief, or principle that outweighs the fear of risk or failure. These individuals are not immune to fear. Instead, they have a clear sense of what they stand for and why it matters. This clarity acts as a guiding force, allowing them to navigate difficult situations with conviction. By reflecting on their examples, we learn that cultivating a strong sense of purpose in our own lives can give us the strength to face our fears and persevere through challenges. Another critical insight gained from courageous individuals is the role of preparation and self-awareness. Courage does not happen in a vacuum. It is often the result of deliberate effort, reflection, and practice. Courageous people prepare themselves mentally, emotionally, and sometimes physically for the challenges they face. They understand their fears and vulnerabilities, which allows them to confront these feelings constructively. This self-awareness is not a sign of weakness but a source of strength, as it enables them to anticipate obstacles and develop strategies to overcome them. From their experiences, we learn that courage is not about being fearless but about being prepared to act despite fear. The stories of courageous individuals also highlight the importance of adaptability. Life's challenges are rarely predictable, and acts of courage often require quick thinking and the ability to adjust to changing circumstances. Courageous people demonstrate a remarkable capacity to remain focused and resourceful in the face of uncertainty. They do not cling rigidly to plans or expectations but instead embrace flexibility as a tool for overcoming adversity. This adaptability is a skill that can be developed through practice and reflection, teaching us that resilience and courage go hand in hand. One of the most inspiring lessons from courageous individuals is their willingness to take risks and accept failure as part of the journey. Fear of failure is one of the most significant barriers to courageous action, yet those who act bravely understand that failure is not the end but a step toward growth. They are willing to take calculated risks, knowing that the possibility of failure is outweighed by the potential for meaningful impact. When setbacks occur, They view them not as defeats but as opportunities to learn and improve. This mindset teaches us that failure is not something to be avoided but embraced as an integral part of progress and growth. Courageous individuals also show us the power of persistence. Acts of bravery often require sustained effort over time, especially when facing prolonged challenges or systemic obstacles. The ability to remain steadfast in the face of adversity is a hallmark of courage, and it is a trait that can be cultivated through determination and resilience. By studying their perseverance, we learn the value of commitment and the importance of staying true to our principles, even when the path forward is difficult or uncertain. Another essential lesson from courageous people is the importance of connection and support. While acts of courage may appear solitary, they are often rooted in a broader context of relationships and community. Courageous individuals frequently draw strength from the support of others, whether it is through mentorship, solidarity, or shared purpose. They remind us that bravery is not about standing alone but about recognizing the interdependence of human experience. By fostering strong connections and seeking out supportive networks, we can build the courage needed to face our own challenges. Learning from courageous individuals helps us understand the transformative power of courage in our own lives. Their stories remind us that courage is not an extraordinary trait reserved for heroes but a capacity that exists within each of us. It is not about dramatic gestures but about making deliberate choices to align our actions with our values, even in the face of fear or uncertainty. These lessons inspire us to take ownership of our lives,